It's about a very current topic. It's whether student athletes should be paid as employees on the Division I collegiate level, and it's funny because I heard that this argument has been going on for at least 25 years, and I can't believe that we're now making a movie about it now in 2021 that'll come out in 22. It seems far too long that this topic hasn't been put on the big screen. You know, in an odd way, I don't think this movie is about sports. I think it's about free labor in a billion-dollar industry. And you can go into the politics of even our own American history of who built this country. I mean, physically built this country. And an argument can be made that it was built on free labor as well. So when you look at the Division I, especially college athletic experience, you see that these kids, and they are kids, they're teenagers, that are growing up to be young men, come from poverty, come from lack of means, and they are asked to put their lives and their bodies on the line every day. And it is a 365-day choice, because if you're not in season, then you're off-season training. And other than the scholarship that they're receiving, they get no compensation. So where does that $15 billion go if their scholarship is only a couple $100,000? So that's been a really fascinating revelation for me. Well, I think it's an important discussion, not only for just current topic to say, hey, let's look at Division I sports, but again, like I said earlier, I think it's important in the legacy of American history is, are we going to continue this practice of not compensating? And I think that's the word that's the most important, compensating these student athletes for what they give on the field. And you don't even have to talk about salaries. Start talking about the basic needs of medical care. I mean, if you're cut from a team because you have an injury and you graduate, the university's not paying your medical bills anymore. Think about that. In a job, any job, you're on the job, you're paid, you'll get workman's compensation and medical bills paid for you because they have a bond for your employment status. But if you're a student, that status is dissolved once you graduate. So you still have hundreds of thousands of dollars in medical bills, but the university is not obliged to pay for it. Just start on that basic level. I think it started with the Olympics when they started to say, hey, you can't just keep making money off our likeness and we get nothing. So I think it boils down to a very fundamental argument of free labor versus what I think the NCAA is trying to hold on to, which is called amateurship. Or amateurism. It's something that they kind of made up. It's that the pride of being an amateur is more important than money. So. Yeah, what he's going for is far more admirable than I probably knew what to do when I was 20 years old in college. That's for sure. And he's got everything to gain. Like you say, he's just won the Heisman Trophy. He's probably going to go as a #1 pick, and he's going to put it all on the line. And that kind of sacrifice it's. I wish it wasn't a movie. You know, I wish it was real life and that someone is actually taking that stance. But I can understand why if they didn't, because they're going to throw away everything. You know, it's interesting. I think that when these coaches sell their program, they talk about what they're going to instill in these young men. They talk about the pride that they'll have in nurturing these young men into becoming from teenagers to young men to adults. But that pride is somehow disappears when they're injured or they take a stance against the very program that feeds them. It's a huge contradiction, and I guess it's up to every coach to kind of wrestle with their own conscience.